are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast. I'm Dylan Abote on Twitter, here talking the latest in Auburn athletics news, as it is now officially Bama Hate Week. But of course, as you all know, we hate Alabama every single day of the year. And of course, we're going to talk about this game from yesterday where the Auburn Tigers put up a season-high 62 points against the Mercer Bears in a game where, I can't lie to you, there was a good chunk of this game where I was a little terrified of what Mercer was doing to our defense. So I'm going to talk about that, and then we'll get into my thoughts on the whole game. This defense has had some issues over the past 2 weeks when it came to passing the ball against them. Of course, I have to say, if there's been one issue with this defense, it's been the safeties. Caleb Harris had he had interceptions, which kudos to him for that, but he did have a couple of bad coverages. Jacquez Robinson as well, which I think we've been talking about him all season long about how kind of iffy his pass coverage has been. But overall, I mean, I think we get to go with this. The talking points with this game all rely on the offense. I mean, the offense putting up 62 points is absolutely ridiculous. And of course, I think what we have to highlight here is, of course, Deuce Knight. Deuce Knight put up, good Lord, video game numbers. 6 total touchdowns for the freshman, 15 of 20 passing completions. That's 75%, 239 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. One was a 91-yarder to Malcolm Simmons. And, of course, had a quarterback rating of 208.4. He also combined that with 9 carries for 162 yards and 4 touchdowns. Longest rush of the day was a 75-yarder that happened on the first play of the game, averaging 18 yards per carry. Now, of course, the talking points for Deuce Knight's performance is why in the world was he the third-string quarterback all season long? And rightfully so, I must say. I am shocked that Deuce Knight has been capable of doing this all season long. And of course, we got to see him earlier in the year versus Ball State, but of course he wasn't practicing that week. So it looked the way it looked. This week ran with the ones. It was evident. The offense was on fire. I mean, you had that touchdown to Cam Coleman that only a expert quarterback could make right before halftime. And good Lord, he was next level. And again, it deserves all the hype in the world for the game that he had yesterday. And of course, huge shout out to Malcolm Simmons. I mean, dude, 5 catches, 149 yards and a touchdown. The one that caught that 91-yarder. Dude, on 7 targets as well. I don't even have the math up for that, but I think it's 30 yards a catch is what that is. Cam Coleman, again, 5 catches, 65 yards and a touchdown, getting the one right before half. Eric Singleton, 4 catches from 27 yards, continuing his trend of catching a pass, but didn't really get much yak in this game. I would have liked to see a lot more of Perry Thompson, I will say. He only had 1 catch for 11 yards. He only had 1 target at that point. Jeremiah Cobb had a catch for 10. Preston Howard able to catch the ball for the first time this season, I felt like. And also got Justin Jones, who was able to get a catch on senior night for him. But yeah, I mean, this offense was clicking, and it should have been because Auburn was playing Mercer. Mercer is a very good FCS team. They will go far in the FCS playoffs. But Auburn should have never been in the situation they were in early in the game. It was 17-14 at one point. It was 14-7 at other points. I mean, the first quarter was just bad for Auburn, and that's when the defense really kind of showed itself a little bit. And again, those were the Jacquez Robinson blown coverage touchdown or just a perfect pass, whichever one. But I mean, Auburn looks great in this game. And now you kind of look ahead to the Iron Bowl and you kind of just, Ashton Daniels was held out for this one, keeping his red shirt capable, which means if Auburn were to beat Alabama, he would not be able to play in that bowl game. But regardless, I mean, the offense that we saw is the offense Auburn should be playing with next week. Alabama does have a very good defense, and at that, I mean, this offense for Alabama is also very good as well. I mean, Bama is a team that has earned the hype that they have this year, and that's the nicest thing I'm ever going to say about them. But for Auburn's defense, you're going to have to get pressure on Ty Simpson. You're going to get pressure on Ty Simpson a lot. And again, as good as Alabama has been all season long, whenever pressure gets put on Ty Simpson, mistakes start to get made more and more. And again, if you even bring into the drops from the wide receivers, Alabama, it isn't really a running football team this season. We kind of saw it. They saw it last game versus Eastern Illinois, but they've not done it all year. And Auburn's defense has been very good against the run. I mean, they're one of the top teams in the country when it comes to stuffing. I was starting to say stuffing and stopping at the same time, but stopping the run. But just the passing is going to be very rough for Auburn to stop. You're going to have to, get pressure all the time, and that means putting Xavier Atkins on blitzes. That means putting Elijah Melendez on blitzes, putting more guys in the box than you have out back, which would do damage as well. I would expect Auburn run a lot of 3-man fronts in this game versus Alabama coming up. I just think that Auburn's going to be able to win the game if they win the line of scrimmage. And again, we saw it versus Mercer. I mean, the front seven did a very good job. I mean, it held Mercer 2.8 yards per carry, only 115 rushing yards for them, which again, I would say it's a little high from what I would want. But yeah, I mean, the only one person really averaged more than 5 yards a carry on the team, and that's the passing game, man. The passing defense just worries the crap out of me, every sense of that word. But yeah, this game, it's kind of hard to talk about a game when it's a blowout like this. It's like whenever you get blown out in a loss or blow someone out in a win, it gets very hard to really to analyze it. I mean, outside of Deuce Knight just having himself a career day, putting himself in record books left and right, it's really hard to really just kind of say Auburn did for 3 quarters of this game. Auburn was on fire and unstoppable from land, air, and sea versus the Mercer Bears. Again, it just comes down to you getting ready for the Iron Bowl next week. Can Ashton Daniels kind of step in and do it again? Did what he did against Vanderbilt, and will this team be healthy? I think Keldrick Falk left early. He was dealing with some injury concerns. There was a couple of guys I saw kind of limp out. But that'd be the big worry, right now, just kind of seeing who's all healthy and who's all ready to go. I will say, I mean, I talked about the safeties and Caleb Harrison and Jacquez Robinson. Rayshon Pleasant had himself a bad game as well. I mean, he gave up a big play. And again, Rayshon Pleasant is a very good return man. And he's made plays at corner, but I just don't think he's the number one guy. I don't think he's someone I want out there guarding the number one receiver. I wouldn't want him out there versus Jeremy Bernard or Ryan Williams, But Auburn does have to pick that up going into next week and find a way to, kind of limit those down the field passing plays that have done just so much damage to them all season long. Vanderbilt exploited it right away. And Mercer found ways to get by it, but Auburn just has to be ready. be ready. This game, the Iron Bowl is going to be one of two things. It's either going to be a barn burner blowout or it's going to be a barn burner overtime game. It's going to be one or the other. No in betweens about it. Yeah, because dude, it's going to be a weird game. I'm weirdly confident right now in Auburn, and I don't know why it is. It could just be the bias in me. But if Auburn is able to kind of take advantage of what Alabama is giving them defensively, then I could see Auburn kind of just going to the wire with them. But it just comes down to, can the defense get stops? I mean, that was the big issue with the Vanderbilt game, was the offense was lighting it up. The defense just wasn't getting stops when they needed to get them the most. So can Auburn do that versus Alabama? We'll see throughout the week how Auburn's feeling. We'll talk about the press conference tomorrow, as well as a couple of basketball games that are going on. We're going to talk about in a second. But I will say I'm a lot more confident now in Auburn's ability to kick the football. Shout out Alex McPherson. Always shouting out Alex McPherson. Had himself a game as well. First game of the season where Auburn made 2 field goals of 40 yards. 47 and 49, as well as making all 8 his PATs as well. So yeah, it's a very great game from Alex McPherson. I'm trying to get ready to get into the grades here. I mean, again, Auburn's offense gets an A+ in this one. You scored 62 points. Deuce Knight put up 6 touchdowns, 240 yards passing, 160 yards rushing. Out of your backup quarterback, yeah, you get an A+ for that. Defense, you get a B+. You lost 10 points because you gave up 17 points to an FCS team that you should not have ever been down to at any point in the game, and worried the mess out of me for the start of it. Special teams gets an A+. Shout out Alex McPherson yet again, just kind of carrying their 245+ yard field goals at that. So huge shout out to Alex McPherson. Head coaching grade, A-. Kind of brought it down a little bit as well. Look, I love Dirk. I love Dirk in the death, and he's going to be. I think he is set at defensive coordinator. I think right now the rumor mill is kind of flying about Summerall and Durkin 6 at defense coordinator, which I think is perfect. I just notice flaws in the defense more so now that Durkin is the head coach, and it's very hard to be the defense coordinator and the head coach. You especially whenever you're detail oriented like Durkin is, it's very hard to do so, and you see holes in the defense more so now. And again, I would not be opposed if Durkin just spent the whole week with the defense and just kind of walked over the offense just like for a couple of plays and whatnot. But because this defense needs to be back to pre Kentucky week shape at least. Cannot give up these big plays that we saw versus Mercer and Vanderbilt. Offensive player of the week, of course, going to go to Deuce Knight. 240 yards passing, 162 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, 18 yards per carry, 75% completion percentage, 209 quarterback rating. Every single stat you can have that's good, Deuce Knight had it in this game. Actual video game numbers. Dude was playing on rookie yesterday. Defensive player of the week. Shout out these young guys that all played. I was looking at the stat lines. Out of the top 10 tackle leaders yesterday for Auburn's game, 4 of which were true freshmen. So a huge shout out to those guys. But my guy for defensive player of the week is not one of those guys. He only had 3 tackles, but he had a pick, which was one-handed, and returned it back for a 41-yard pick 6. That's, of course, going to be Elijah Melendez getting his 2nd pick of the year, and, of course, getting a pick 6 in that regard. Auburn had 2 picks yesterday. Caleb Harris got the other one. Chris Murray forced a fumble, which was awesome. So huge shout out to Chris Murray. Also getting some praise during senior night. Shout out to all the seniors, man. These seniors have been through the woodwork, and just glad they're getting some hype to end out the year. Keldrick Falk was represented during senior night, which means he's going to the NFL draft, which sucks in some ways, more so than others. But again, Keldrick Falk has been an absolute legend. Will be one of those guys that they're talked about 20, 30, 40 years from now. So super stoked that he's getting ready to get Auburn some more NFL recognition that they should be getting more of. Shout out Derek Brown as well. I would not be opposed to Keldrick Falk joining the Panthers, but of course Panthers don't really need an edge rusher right now. It's more so linebacker. Xavier Atkins isn't entering the draft yet, so shout out Keldrick, and shout out all these seniors. I love that Auburn brought out Brian Battie for senior night. I thought that was a classy move, and I love that Brian Battie got to get his flowers for being a part of Auburn. I'm glad that he is seemed to be recovering well. But yeah, Auburn football's 5-6 going into the Iron Bowl. Again, is Auburn going to win it? I don't know. But again, I'm feeling confident about it. But I'm interested in the comment section below. Give me your way too early predictions for Auburn versus Alabama this Saturday night game in Jordan-Hare. I need to see if they've actually put up a spread yet for the game. Usually they do, but for a game like this, I have to imagine Alabama is a heavy favorite. FPI-wise, yes. Cover the spread-wise, though, 5.5 for Alabama. So again, night game, Jordan-Hare next week. ABC, Alabama 5.5-point favorite. We're previewing all this week, but of course, before we get to that point, we need to know what your predictions are for the Iron Bowl. Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, we're going to quick little break. Let's have a break. We're talking about some Auburn basketball and get ready for their games tomorrow, both men's and women's. So stay tuned. We're going to be right back.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
Of course, available on thewarreport.com. Of course, go to the shop and get your very own college loop merch today. Of course, that's something much for the channel. Of course, the best way to support the channel is, of course, by liking the video, by commenting on the video, letting me know what you think of the Iron Bowl coming up, and who do you think was going to take home? I don't think there's a trophy for that. There is an NCAA 14, but I can't remember what it's called. But take home the W in the Iron Bowl. Auburn has not won the Iron Bowl since 2019. Been a lot of close games since then and now, but it's been a long time since Auburn been able to walk out of the Iron Bowl with a W. And, of course, I've got to change the background. So give me 2 seconds for that. Go ahead and I don't know where I just went there, but awesome. Been doing this for a couple years now, if you wouldn't believe that. So Auburn basketball back in action tomorrow, both men's and women's. The women will be up first at 5 o'clock p.m. Take on the UTSA Roadrunners. The guys will be on TV at 8 o'clock, or I'm looking at I'm at Eastern time right now. 4 o'clock p.m. Central time. Guys will be on deck. 7 o'clock p.m. Central time as well on True TV. Taking on the Oregon Ducks, who are 4-0. Auburn 4-1 after taking a close loss to Houston last week. Got a week off. Had an easy game in between then and now against Jackson State. Getting the 112-66 win in that one. Of course, the big thing about that game, you did not see Keyshawn Hall, of course, holding him out, letting him get healthy. I heard he was no longer in a boot, but I'm not sure if he'll be here, if he'll be playing this game, or if they just need to make sure he's fully healthy. I don't think they ever released the severity of the injury he had. But, of course, I mean, I think Auburn showed a lot of growth, even without Keyshawn Hall on the court versus Jackson State. Got to see a lot of guys kind of ball out that we've not seen in quite some time. I mean, shout out Blake Mushalek, had himself a great game. Dude, Simon Walker went out there, getting back from his injury, and dude went 5 for 5 from the 3-point line. So Auburn showing a lot of growth there offensively, and I mean, defensively, it looked a lot better. Yeah, Oregon is a team. I mean, right now, Auburn's favored to win by 3.5 points. Oregon has beaten Oregon State, San Diego State, Rice, and Hawaii. That Hawaii game was a 1-point game. It's been a lot of close ones outside of San Diego State and against Oregon State to a lesser regard. I think it's, 12 points. Oregon as well. I mean, they have a center, which could be some issues. He's 7 foot. He's the points leader, 18.8 points, as well as 9.8 rebounds per game as well. He also is averaging 3 blocks a game. Of course, Auburn has one 7-footer and Amika Operum, but I don't expect him to get that many minutes. I think he's still developing as we go throughout. Of course, without Keyshawn Hall, this game does become a lot more difficult. I mean, he is a true scorer in every single regard of that one, as well as Auburn's leading rebounder with 11. It'll come down to shooting for Auburn, free throw shooting as well as 3-point shooting, just kind of taking smarter shots, not just going crazy with it. I mean, Simon Walker, 100% from the 3-point line, all 5 shots. So, but he can shoot wherever he wants. But it's going to be a big game for Keyshawn Murphy, kind of relying on him. And, if he's still fighting injuries or whatnot, if he's fully healthy, then it's great. But yeah, it'll be big for a big game for him to kind of show out and shut down this Oregon center. Nate Biddle is his name. I just keep saying Oregon center. But I mean, they have some guards too that can score too. I mean, they have Jackson Shellstad, who is shooting very well, 37 from the field, 33 from the 3-point line, 18.3 points per game, as well as dishing it out 5 assists as well. And another guy in Takai Simpkins, who's averaging 14 a game. So Oregon's got some scores as well. It's going to be up to Auburn to play good defense. I'm going to give Auburn the win in this one. I think that Auburn still has a lot to grow this season. Of course, that's what the non-con's for. Auburn's got a lot to get better on as we get closer to conference play. But again, the season doesn't get any easier for Auburn. After Oregon, of course, the very next day it will be Michigan, number 7, as well as number 25, NC State the next week. Number 4, Arizona that same week. And, of course, Purdue, number 1 Purdue, in 3 weeks. So this isn't getting easier, but you got to get wins when you can get them. And Auburn really needs to get a win over Oregon to kind of continue and get back in the win column against Power 4 opponents. Of course, that Houston game, can't really sit too much on that one. I think Auburn still had a lot to grow in that game. And them only losing by 1 point speaks volumes to how good this team can be. But of course, I'm going to get Auburn to get the win in that one, as well as Auburn women's basketball taking on who are currently 6-0 for the first time in quite some time. Taking on UTSA, who is 2-2. Of course, ESPN FBI has Auburn as a 52% chance favorite in this one. And Auburn's been very solid. They've had some games where they've had to fight hard for, Georgia State and Rutgers being those two. But they've been a very solid basketball team. Koulibaly with 12.5 points, Lee with 5.8 rebounds, leading the team, and Caitlin Duon's also been a very, very solid guard this year as well. As well as Maya Petticord. This team can compete in the SEC, and at least can be very competitive. I say compete, and not meaning like you're going to win it or anything. But again, I think Coach Vickers has shown a lot of growth in just a short span. Starting off 6-0 is big time. And again, anytime your team starts off like that, it's again a great thing. Again, this will be a great test for Auburn going into the following game on Wednesday versus Cal. And again, they have Oregon this week as well on Sunday, the day after the Iron Bowl, taking on another undefeated team in Oregon. So, again, I'm going to take Auburn in that one as well. I'm predicting big weeks for Auburn in every sport. Sadly, volleyball lost to Kentucky 3-0, but regardless, sports going strong right now. I'm going to take Auburn to get the win over UTSA in that one, the Hoop Fest Women's Basketball Classic in the first round of that. So, of course, I'm just thinking how much ability you have Auburn winning against Alabama in football, Oregon in basketball, and UTSA in women's basketball as well. That's going to do it for the Installment College League Podcast. We're going to get out of here. Just a short show. Again, it's hard to do hardcore analysis on 62 to 17 point blowouts. So we'll be back tomorrow or Tuesday talking about the press conference for D.D. Durkin and his first press conference for an Iron Bowl as just a head coach in general. He's never been a head coach for either team. Kind of going over the keys for the game for Auburn. We've already touched on a few of them here, but how can Auburn get a big upset over Alabama, knocking them out of the playoffs? So stay tuned for that. Of course, we'll be back on Thursday as well to preview the Iron Bowl and kind of see where I stand confidence-wise for the Auburn Tigers. But, of course, we're going to get up out of here. Thanks for tuning in to the Installment College League Podcast. I'm Dylan. Everybody on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram as well at Dylan DYLNLERCK. And, of course, if you're from the College League Podcast, if you like, comment, and subscribe to helping us get to our next big-time milestone of 2,000 subscribers. Thank you all to everyone who's already subscribed to the YouTube channel, as well as followed us on every social media platform. Check us out there as well. But, of course, that being said, thanks for tuning in to this installment of the College League Podcast yet again. And, as always, War Eagle.